Dear Sir or Madam, imagine that one of your cherished ones is seriously ill. There may be a natural remedy, completely safe and with no side effects, that might cure him, but the European Union won't let you have it. Instead, the authorities will leave you with no alternative but to treat him with chemical drugs with potentially serious side effects. You have no choice. This absurd nightmare is an imminent reality threatening Europe and all its inhabitants, including you and me. After years of lobbying, multinational pharmaceutical companies are in the process of achieving their aim. A draconian directive from the European Union is going to prohibit us from using numerous medicinal remedies made from plants, which not only have been in use for thousands of years, but which are also free of the side effects associated with modern drugs derived from petrochemistry. The directive threatens not only hundreds of European herbs, but also the plants used in traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, and all those used in Ayurveda, Indian medicine. This is the new THMPD directive, Traditional Herbal Medicinal Products Directive, which will come into force on the 30th of April 2011. This is an unprecedented attack on our right to treat ourselves using alternative medicines. And the directive's aim is only too transparent: to secure billions of euros of profits for the pharmaceutical industry for years to come by obliging patients to use their drugs for want of an alternative. But there is hope. A very organized and active group, the Alliance for Natural Health, ANH, is taking legal action against this directive. It is being assisted in this by the European Benefit Foundation, EBF. The ANH has managed to raise funds of £90,000 to pay for lawyers to bring the case to court. Their aim is to convict the European Union of abuse of authority. This would ultimately prevent the directive from being enforced. The problem, however, is there has not yet been any large-scale movement by European citizens to show their support for the ANH initiative. This is why patients and citizens have decided to form a citizens' action group, and we are urgently calling on you. My name is Laura, and I myself am part of this group. I am asking you to show your support now by signing the petition below against the new European directive and for the protection of natural health in Europe. We need hundreds of thousands of signatures to counter the THMPD directive. Our action group is preparing to launch the petition in other European countries. It has already gathered more than 110,000 signatures in France in 1 week. With this video in English, we could reach millions within days. So please sign the petition below and transfer this video to all your contacts. What is the THMPD, and why is it so dangerous? The THMPD, also called Directive 2004/24/EC of the European Union, imposes a new approval procedure for therapeutic preparations made from plants. All such preparations, including those which have been used for thousands of years, will have to undergo a whole new approval procedure from the 30th of April 2011. In other words, manufacturers will have to amass expert reports, studies and files at their own cost. The European Union argues that the procedure is simply in comparison with chemical drugs produced by the multi-billion pharma industry. But according to the ANH, the cost is prohibitive for the vast majority of smaller companies, amounting from £80,000 to £150,000 or more for polyherbal products. The problem is that producers of medicinal herbs definitively do not have the same means as multinational pharmaceutical companies. Most producers wildcraft or harvest the plants in their own natural habitat using traditional methods. Thus, this directive amounts to de facto annihilation of the principal array of alternative medicines made from plants, phytotherapy, herbalism, plus the whole of Chinese, Indian, Amazonian, and African traditions, which today are available in Europe. Europe did already exactly the same thing with food supplements in 2006. A new approval procedure was fabricated by the European Food Safety Authority, EFSA. Michel Rivasi, member of the European Parliament, stated on the 14th of December 2010, "To date, over 95% of health claim files put in for plant-based products have received a negative decision from the EFSA. Too strict and modeled on procedures used for drugs, the EFSA makes its decision based on very few data and rejects health claims which have nevertheless already been permitted in several European countries. There is no doubt that the same thing will happen with medicinal plants. Not only will it spell the end for thousands of European, Chinese, and Ayurvedic plants in Europe, but also a host of Creole, Tibetan, Nigerian, and Cevennes remedies will be cast into a state of illegality because they cannot provide the appropriate bibliographic elements, according to expert herbalist Thierry Tavernan. The timing of this directive is anything but coincidental. There is indeed an emergency. The pharmaceutical industry needs this directive to strengthen their dominant position at a time when it finds itself being radically called into question. Its credibility has been severely shaken by the Vioxx Avandia mediator and now the Buflomidal scandals. Specialists are talking about dozens, if not hundreds, of toxic pharmaceutical drugs which should be banned. That is why it is of the utmost importance for the pharmaceutical industry to cut us off from any possible alternatives, and the new European directive represents the holy grail for them, guaranteeing them their billions of annual profits for decades to come. Stand up to stop them. Sign the petition below now. Some manufacturers, of course, have nevertheless tried to obtain approval for the most common plants. Expert herbalist Thierry Tavernan explains the Kafka's complexity of the procedure. It took almost 2 years of work, from the 23rd of November 2005 to the 7th of September 2007, by several dozen experts representing the 27 countries, the HMPC-1 Commission, the Committee on Herbal Medicinal Products, to recognize common fennel seeds, Funiculum vulgare LSSP, for their use as an antispasmodic, expectorant, and digestive drug. Medical indications that have been known for centuries in the Euro-Mediterranean and Chinese people's cultures. The dossier for red vine leaves, Vitis vinifera LSSP, took 3 years. It was started on the 31st of October 2007 and was only concluded on the 15th of July 2010. And remedies as simple as garlic capsules and rosemary herbal tea are now on the hot seat. This is not paranoia. In Canada, a law has already been passed which could send you to prison for having grown simple aromatic herbs in your garden. This is Bill C-51, which criminalizes the use of medicinal plants, which was passed in 2008. For the time being, less than 200 traditional medicines made from plants have been approved by Europe. Yet, according to Professor Paul Fournier, there are 1,500 medicinal species in mainland France alone, and over 20,000 species currently used across the world. Traditional Chinese medicine employs 17,000 formulae with different blends. Yet, every plant with therapeutic indications which does not receive approval will have to be withdrawn from sale after the 30th of April 2011, all over Europe. It is an indescribable scandal. Thousands of years of valuable knowledge are at risk of being definitively lost for the entire European continent and its inhabitants if the European Union manages to impose its directive. How long will it take? How much money will it cost the European taxpayer to validate and authorize the illegal distribution of thousands of potential traditional plant remedies? The answer is simple. It is impossible, and it will never be done. That is why I am really counting on you to sign our petition. Only by actively fighting for our rights can we stop the joint drive by the multinational pharmaceutical corporations and the European Union. In politics, there is an old saying, silence is consent. If you do not make your voice heard by signing the petition, the European bureaucrats will assume that nobody cares about their new directive. Then, they will think that this gigantic gift they are giving the pharmaceutical industry has neither attracted attention nor caused indignation from anybody. So please express yourself, because now is the moment of truth. Your signature will give decisive democratic authenticity to the measures which the ANH is undertaking at a legal level. And after having signed your petition, please forward this message to everyone you know. Tell them it's time to act. There really isn't any time to lose. A big thank you, and we shall keep you up to date on how our actions are progressing. Laura, for the European League for Natural Medicine.